Welcome to After Peter Pan, the podcast all about growing up and finding more purpose. I'm your host, Pat Teneriello, and in this episode, we're doing things a little differently. I'm solo, the first solo episode. I'm here to deliver a short life update. It's going to be a short episode this week. But I'm super excited to share that I've gone back to school. I am pursuing a Master of Arts in Counseling Psychology from Yorkville University. It's a 2.5-year program, asynchronous mostly, meaning you go at it at your own pace. It includes 2 practicums, so I'll actually be doing real-world experience in psychotherapy, shadowing psychotherapists and doing some work with clients as well. And so it allows working professionals like myself to go back to school. And so, I started last Monday. And it just felt like a natural step on this journey of wellness and mental health that started back in 2019 when I began working with Men in Healing, the men's psychotherapy program I did to work through my childhood trauma. So I had one-on-one therapy and group therapy. Covered that in episode 10, which was the episode I did on myself where my sister interviewed me. We're not going to dive into all that again. If you haven't heard it, I would encourage you to check it out. But since then, I've been on this journey of aiming up, of personal development, of change, and that's not easy. And that's why I started this podcast, to create a community of like-minded folks, to create a resource where I interview experts, psychotherapists who can help people who are trying to grow up, who may be feeling that failure to launch, who are looking to make some major changes and may feel alone, feel like they might need help. So this is that next step, becoming a psychotherapist. And it's very meaningful to me because I really value connecting with people. That's what has kept me engaged in sales for my career, except that I'm increasingly less motivated by financial reasons and I'm more motivated by the impact that my work can have on the wellness of others. And I felt that through this podcast up until now. I really am grateful, really, really appreciate getting feedback. And I've gotten some really meaningful, impactful feedback from some of you. And that's really what has helped to solidify that what I'm doing matters. And I think one way to increase the velocity of that journey is through this program. And that's one of the reasons, one of the motivations for doing it. I feel like I interview experts and they share their knowledge and wisdom, and that's fantastic. And I would like to amass some of that myself. And I do through these conversations. I listen to them several times as I edit them before I release them. And some of that sticks in my brain. But I think having a program like this is really going to speed up that, to be able to help others, to help clients in even a more profound way. And so I've been a week and a half in the program. It's going really well. I'm really, really encouraged by the content, a little bit surprised, to be honest with you. So I wanted to share a little bit of that. You know, in the first week, I was really impressed with the focus being on our own self-care, self-respect, self-reflection, understanding who am I? And if you think about it, it makes sense, right? How can we help others if we aren't able to help ourselves? So the foundation is really to work on ourselves so that we can work on other selves. I also think that this is aligned with the goal that I've set for myself to aim up and to become the best version of myself. And I think in these 2.5 years, a big theme is going to be, like I said, looking inwards and understanding myself in order to be able to understand and help others. And one big theme that's already come up is this idea of respect, of self-respect, of respect for others as a foundation for the therapeutic relationship with a client. And there was a quote that I read in one of the readings that I wanted to read and share with you guys, which talks about self-care and self-respect. Here it is. The respect we have or don't have for ourselves is critical to how we find and build respect for our clients. Self-care, then, is a mandatory piece of the puzzle in the quality of care that we give to our clients. Our physical and mental well-being contribute heavily to our ability to be fully present and separate in a way that gives us the maximum capacity to openly respect the total uniqueness of the person sitting in front of us. To me, that summarizes it beautifully. I'm excited to think about the version of myself that's going to be there at the end of this program. If it's going to be significantly geared towards this idea of self-care, of mental well-being, but also the ability to be fully present. And I find that that's really aligned in my meditative practice, this idea of presence, to have our whole mind in the room, to be able to connect with the other and to understand the other. So really motivated with the initial content, and I want to share my long-term vision with you. And I put this in my original application for the program, which is I have this long-term vision of a multidisciplinary center for wellness, which would encompass psychotherapy, but also Zazen meditation or different forms of meditation, yoga, physical fitness, and potentially a cafe or something that could bring it together and create that sense of community, because there still is some taboo that remains today when we talk about mental health. I think that we've come a long way as a culture, as a society, but this idea of building a community where you don't need to feel shame to ask for help. So that's my vision. That's also what's motivating me on this journey. And I think that becoming a psychotherapist is getting me one step closer to that vision. And I think it's really important to have an aim, to have a goal, something that is sort of your North Star that you're aiming at. So one of the reasons I wanted to make space for sharing this life update, one is because I'm excited, but two is because it will have an impact on the podcast. So going forward, we're going to be moving from bi-weekly cadence of episode releases to monthly. I may be able to do a bit better than that, but I want to start with monthly just so that I'm prioritizing this program as well as my career, and then also this podcast, but in that order. So we're going to move to monthly, and I'm committed to the podcast, but on this new cadence of monthly. So I hope listeners will appreciate that and accept that. And then I also wanted to make space for to be a little vulnerable for a moment, which is that summer just ended. We're heading into fall, and I think fall is an opportunity to reconnect with some of those goals that we may have set at the beginning of the year, and maybe they got away from us through the summer months, which kind of feels like holiday vacation, a time to just relax and unwind. I must admit that coming back to Canada after being in Italy and reconnecting with friends and family and kind of having back-to-back plans, it was hard to stay in a routine. And I feel like I had moments where I faltered, where I fell into some habits that I'm not proud of, that I know I can do better. And so I wanted to put that out there, that the fall and starting this program has really helped me to recenter and to refocus and to get back into that routine that I had at the beginning of the year, and to revisit my goals that I set, that I wrote down at the beginning of the year. And I would encourage you guys to do the same. I wanted to put that out there because it's important to know that I'm on this journey too. And this summer, I feel like I did take a bit of a step back. So if you're listening and you can relate to that, know that you're not alone. But I think that the fall gives us an opportunity to get back into our regular routine. And to that end, I have been really sitting on the mat every morning now since I started school. It's really helped make a difference in my presence, also in my fatigue. I feel like when my brain is not as busy, I find that I need less sleep. I'm also seeing benefits in my presence with my son and with my wife and in my mood. And I've been thinking about this for a little while. So if this is something that might be of an interest to any of you, please write me a message. I was thinking of doing live meditation sessions a few mornings a week where anyone could hop on and we could meditate together, create sort of a group meditation. I think it would be good because it would hold me accountable to make sure that I show up. It would hold accountable to anyone who decided to join. It would also be an introduction to meditation, potentially for folks to understand how it works and kind of be able to have one more tool in the toolbox on your journey of wellness. So if that's something that's of interest, please let me know. And knowing that there is interest would motivate me to get that going. So it would be a bit of a commitment, but I'm happy to do it. I think that those were the things that I was hoping to get through with you guys. So this is, again, it's a short episode. I really wanted to share this with you, and I look forward to getting back to normal programming. I have guests lined up already for the next episode I'm really excited about. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. If you have any ideas, thoughts, recommendations, please share them with me. I love hearing your feedback, and I look forward to our next episode. Bye-bye.